If you want to know who has power in a relationship, do not start by asking who is bigger. Ask who changes their behavior first. A cat meows at a closed door, and a human gets up to open it. The bowl is empty, so the human fills it. The cat steps onto the keyboard, and the human stops what they were doing. In the moment, this looks normal. That is the strange part. The human is stronger, smarter, and in control of the house, but the cat keeps getting the human to respond. Most of the time, the human does not feel controlled. The human experiences this as attachment. So the question is not just, why do we love cats? The better question is, did humans domesticate cats, or did cats become unusually good at changing human behavior? The normal story of domestication is simple. Humans found wild animals and turned them into useful partners. Wolves became dogs, horses carried us, cattle fed us, sheep gave us wool. Those animals clearly changed around human needs. Then you get to cats, and the story becomes harder to explain. Cats can live with us. They can bond with us. They can learn routines, recognize patterns, and in some cases respond to their own names. But they do not behave like animals built around obedience. Many cats can hear a person calling and still choose not to come. That is the mystery. Cats became one of the most successful animals in human homes without becoming fully absorbed into human command. They are domestic, but not in the same way dogs are domestic. Dogs were shaped by a long history of close cooperation with people. They became specialists in reading human direction. Cats entered our world through a different door. Their success did not require them to become workers. It required them to become acceptable neighbors, then familiar companions, then emotionally important animals. So if cats did not win by obedience, what did they win by? The first answer is not cuteness. It is grain. Thousands of years ago, humans started farming. That changed how we lived. People could stay in one place. Food could be stored. Settlements could grow. But stored food attracts other animals. When grain sits in one place, rodents notice. Mice and rats came for the grain. Wild cats came for the mice and rats. Humans suddenly had a new kind of neighbor, a small predator near the edges of their settlements. At first, this was not a pet story. It was an opportunity. Cats that were less afraid of humans could stay closer to the rodents. Humans who tolerated those cats had fewer pests around stored food. No one had to plan it. The arrangement selected itself. Less fearful cats stayed near people. People kept allowing it because the cats were useful. That is the first twist. Humans may not have pulled cats into civilization by force. We built a civilization where cats had a reason to move closer. This makes cats different from many domesticated animals. They were not first shaped for meat, milk, wool, transport, or direct labor. They were shaped by proximity. The human settlement created the conditions. The cats that could tolerate those conditions stayed. At this stage, cats made practical sense. They were hunters living near a problem humans had created. Dogs took a different path. They became deeply involved in human work. They hunted with us, guarded with us, watched our faces, and followed human signals. Dogs became partners in the human project. Cats remained more independent. They were useful, but they did not become servants in the same way. That difference explains why the modern cat feels unusual. Most house cats today are not kept because they protect grain stores. They are kept because people want them there. Somewhere between ancient farms and modern apartments, cats crossed a line. They stopped being only useful. They became emotionally valuable. Attention. A meow is effective because it creates a question in your mind. What does the cat want? Food? A door opened? Attention? The sound does not need one exact meaning. It only needs to make you stop and respond. Adult cats use many forms of communication with each other. Scent, posture, touch, movement, and different sounds. With humans, domestic cats often become more vocal. They learn that sound changes our behavior. One kind of sound gets food, another gets a door opened. A repeated sound gets attention, even when the human was focused on something else. This is not random noise. It is communication shaped by response. If a sound makes the human act, that sound becomes useful. If it keeps working, the pattern remains. Purring may also play a role. Research has found that some cats use a food-soliciting purr that humans tend to hear as more urgent. It can contain an acoustic element that makes the purr harder to ignore. That does not mean cats planned a strategy. It means the sounds that got results were reinforced. The cat made a sound. The human reacted. The cat got something. Over time, this becomes a feedback loop, not a full language, not control in a literal sense, just an effective way to make the human pay attention. And cats do not only send signals, they also read signals from us. Studies suggest that domestic cats can discriminate their own names from other words. They may not always respond in the way a person expects, but the lack of a dramatic reaction does not mean the signal was not recognized. This matters because it changes the way we understand independence. A cat ignoring a human is not always a failure of understanding. Sometimes it is a difference in motivation. The animal hears the signal, evaluates the situation, and does not necessarily treat human desire as a command. That is part of why cats feel so distinct. They can understand more than they reveal. But attention alone is not enough. If an animal only interrupts you, you eventually stop wanting it around. Cats also press a second button: care. Humans are sensitive to certain features: large eyes, round faces, small noses, soft proportions, and vulnerable movement. Scientists often describe this as baby schema, cues that can trigger attention and caregiving before we fully think through what we are doing. This system did not evolve because of cats. It evolved because human babies need care for a long time, but cats, especially kittens, fit many of those cues. They are small, their faces are expressive, their movements can look vulnerable, their voices can sound urgent. Adult cats keep enough softness to remain emotionally appealing, but enough predator behavior to stay interesting. A cat can damage furniture, take over a resting place, wake a person, or ignore them completely and still remain emotionally protected by that person. This changes the relationship. The cat is no longer only useful. The cat becomes forgivable. The sound gets attention. The face softens the response. Together, they turn a small predator into a companion. But there is a third part of the relationship. Cats do not give affection on command. That can be frustrating, but it also changes how their affection feels. A dog often makes love feel constant. A cat often makes it feel selective. One moment, it wants to be near you. Another moment, it moves away. Sometimes it follows you into a room but still does not want to be touched. This unpredictability can make affection feel more personal. When a cat chooses to sit near you, slow blink at you, or sleep beside you, it can feel like trust. Not automatic affection, chosen affection. This is not just projection from humans. Research on cat-human interaction suggests that slow blinking can function as a positive social signal. In one study, cats were more likely to narrow their eyes after owners slow blinked at them, and they were more likely to approach an experimenter after a slow blink interaction than after a neutral expression. That is important because it shows that the relationship is not only human imagination. There are signals moving in both directions. The cat does something subtle. The human reads it as trust. The human responds. The cat adjusts again. This is a quieter kind of communication than obedience, but it can be just as powerful. Humans give meaning to it. We learn the rules of the individual cat, where it likes to be touched, where it does not, which food it accepts, which chair it prefers, which door it expects to be opened. Now return to the beginning of the video. Watch who adapts. The cat has preferences, and the human changes routines around them. The cat does not need to dominate through force. It only needs to make cooperation feel voluntary. That may be why cats are so compelling. They do not make affection easy. They make it feel earned. Then humans built the internet, and cats found a new environment. The internet rewards attention, and cats are unusually good at creating it. They are cute enough to attract people, independent enough to surprise them, and ambiguous enough that viewers can project stories onto them. A dog video often feels clear. The dog is excited, loyal, happy, guilty, or proud. A cat video is often harder to read. Is the cat annoyed, curious, focused on something we cannot see, reacting to a small sound or movement? That uncertainty is part of the appeal. A cat in a box becomes a story. A cat staring at a wall becomes a mystery. A cat missing a jump becomes a small moment of character. For thousands of years, cats spread through human systems, farms, ships, cities, and homes. Then they spread through feeds. The same traits that made cats unusual roommates made them perfect internet animals. They did not need to become more obedient. They needed to become more visible. And the internet made them visible at a scale no previous generation could have imagined. This is the final step in the pattern. First, cats entered the human food system, then the human home, then human attention, then human emotion. Now they live inside human media. So did cats hack humans? Not literally. There was no plan, no hidden intention, no conscious strategy. Evolution does not need intentions to create powerful outcomes. It creates fits. A species finds an opening, and the traits that work tend to remain. Humans created farms, and cats fit the rodent problem. Humans created homes, and cats fit the warmth. Humans respond to small, vulnerable faces, and cats fit that emotional system. Humans created an attention economy, and cats fit that too. So maybe domestication is not only about ownership. Maybe it is also about behavior change. We changed cats, but cats changed our routines, our homes, our voices, our cameras, our feeds, and the part of us that responds to a small animal asking for something. That is why the cat story is different. We did not make cats useful in the normal way. Cats made themselves impossible to ignore. So the next time a cat meows, and you stand up before you even think about it, do not feel weak. You are participating in a very old relationship. And in that relationship, humans are not the only ones who learned how to shape another species.